Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and good afternoon, viewers. We've actually got a very, very special guest, and someone that I've known ever since I've started the school. And also, she's the SRC leader, also the humanities teacher of high school. And I'll pass on the mic very soon. I want to say, look, I've learned so much from her. We're the only two teachers in the school that actually are trained. I'm not sure about myself, but are trained to teach SOR. So I'm actually going to pass on to you now. Look, really want to say big thank you to come on and to take part in this interview in the last minute. I've got your picture displayed so you can start introducing yourself as well. And this is none other than Miss Sumaia ELKADOMI. So you can actually introduce yourself as well. And also tell us about the photo. I don't want to say that, you know, whenever you talk about the Arabs, it's always associated with camels. So I actually don't want to say it. So I'll pass on the mic to you. They can actually talk about your photo.
Look, it was actually very intentional that I chose the photo of me on a camel because, you know, I said I would connect to my roots and show, you know, exactly how Arabs used to be. But firstly, I want to say thank you for having me on your podcast show. And, you know, this particular picture is extremely special to me because it was when I was about 5 years old. And my mum had taken me to Jordan, which was the place of her birth. So she was born in Jordan. And, you know, riding a camel for the first time, I was essentially a very Aussie baby until, you know, I had a very big culture shock into what being an Arab truly is. And I was in one of the most incredible places, which is, you know, Petra, which is one of the new wonders of the world. And you know, I was very fortunate to see Petra and be there with my family and meet my mum's family for the first time.
I mean, that looks like a very, very beautiful sight in the background, the fortress.
It is. It's beautiful. It's an ancient city. But I also chose this picture because of my face expression. I just thought it was such a typical Sumaia face, like just kind of like off in the clouds, you know, off having my own little thoughts.
Well, look, I really want to thank you. I mean, to come out, we don't want to, you know, it was a last minute cancellation. I called you and I really want to thank you that you took up, you always take up challenges. So it was kind of like a challenge to come on my show. So my first question to you, a very simple one. What is something you always wanted to learn?
There are so many things that I really want to learn. And I think, you know, being in education, we're kind of ambassadors for learning and wanting to increase and upskill. But, you know, outside of Islamic learning, I think something that I've always really wanted to learn, which is a funny contrast, is learn how to play the violin. I don't know what it is about the violin, but I've always really wanted to know how to play it. And yeah, I never had that, you know, growing up, instrument kind of lessons, piano lessons and those kinds of things. So I've always been curious to know how to play violin.
I've actually heard, I mean, all these guitars and these string instruments are not very easy to play. So I wish you all the best, but I know they're not very easy.
Yeah.
So what is something that you really know well? We know you didn't know a lot of things well, but something that you would say, look, this is something I know really well.
I don't know. I think I'm a bit self-critical, and I think I constantly try to think about how I can better myself and improve. So it's hard to think of something in particular, but I think one thing that I know well is people and how to engage with people and how to have you know, connections to a whole range of people. I think you know, if you look at my circle of friends and people I connect with, you know, I have friends of all ages, of different backgrounds, of different, you know, lifestyles, and I've always enjoyed meeting new people. And one thing that I think I can do well is connect with people and understand them and have them understand me well.
I can actually vouch you on that one. Yeah, definitely very good at connecting with people. Definitely.
Oh, you're so kind, Jeff. Just like you, I have you as my role model. So, you know.
Well, role model, I don't know about role. I'm sure I'm a model. Oh. So what are people usually surprised to find out about you? So many people are really surprised when they hear about you.
Okay, so do you know one thing that I think people are surprised to learn about me is I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. So I do seek, you know, especially when I'm traveling, I do like to seek out kind of experiences that are like one-off experiences or something that I know I wouldn't have experienced in my day-to-day. And I really like to challenge myself in those experiences. Like, you know, I have a fear of like oceans, and on my last trip overseas, I went scuba diving in like, you know, a particular like water that really always used to scare me when I used to travel, actually in Jordan. So that's something that people are probably surprised to know about me, is that I'm a bit of a adrenaline seeker, and I like to do some, I've definitely put myself in very testing situations, and I've definitely had experiences where I've kind of thought, oh my God, I should not have survived that experience. And, you know, I usually have to tell my parents after I've done it, and my family after I've done it, so that they're not like, don't do it, or don't try to convince me out of it. So yeah, that's maybe something that is surprising.
Well, so great. I mean, very good to know. So we probably can give you some tests and some challenges in the coming days in school.
Adrenaline, like activities, nothing to do with school, please. We've got enough adrenaline.
I think the school in itself is a challenge.
Alhamdulillah. Well, I mean, it's one of the greatest skills to, or greatest experiences to be a teacher. And, you know, there's never a day that we wake up and we don't feel like we're fulfilled, or we're not kind of trying something new. And I guess that's part of the job. And it's definitely a learning experience for me, and I'm sure for others. And yeah, so
I think that's for everyone. I mean, really well said. Now, any advice to staff, everyone's listening to you in these difficult times? You know, it really gets difficult for people. We're not back face to face. We don't know when it's going to be. I mean, anything that you would like to say to everyone?
One thing that I think would be really good kind of piece of advice to take away is, you know, life is definitely filled with a lot of uncertainty, and we plan so many things, and often those plans are challenged. And, you know, as a Muslim, we know that God is the greatest of planners, and he definitely has his plans. And although we think and we try to put together how our life is going to be set, we need to remember there's a greater planner who is essentially in control. And I guess to just take life as it comes, and you know, at the end of most downfalls, there's a light and something positive out of it. And that's something I've definitely been challenged with recently. And so just having tawakkul and believing that there is greater good in all things, and greater reasons for why we're in particular situations. And I guess that's something it's challenging, and it's not the easiest thing to have. And yeah, so, but just to know that inshallah we will get out of this very difficult time just like we have previously. And there's always wisdom and hikam in every situation, and inshallah we get to see that sooner than later.
Well, look, you really well said. And also we know, particularly in your life very recently, you've actually lost someone who was very close to you. We make dua that Allah actually raises his status, you know, elevates his status, and then allow him to be with, you know, the pious ones, with the prophets, with the companions. And also when we leave the world, when you leave the world, you are united with him, and his family is united with him.
I mean, inshallah. And that's the greatest goal, you know, is to be united with the best people that have ever walked this earth, and our families. And, you know, just like I said, this life is planned, and although we don't understand why certain things happen, there's a great wisdom behind them. And inshallah, one day, you know, everything will be figured out. And I guess keep that end goal in mindset, you know, and realize that
we're definitely going to find out. You're right. We're definitely, inshallah. All right. Like, now's the fun part.
Oh, okay.
I mean, these are my riddles. Some people actually got them right. hopefully you can get it right as well. But it's not very hard, trust me. If you ask me those riddles, because I've already seen them before, so I'll be able to answer them. Hopefully you can do that as well. So I'm going to take your photo off, and we're actually going to display the question. All right, let's see. Hopefully you get this one. It's not that hard, trust me.
Oh, I hope so. Well, now that you said it's not hard, if I get this wrong, that's going to be like extra embarrassing. Okay.
You get to listen to it, and
Okay.
after that, I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
All right. So there we go. I'm going to play it. I'm going to be quiet, listen to it. I'll give you 20 seconds to answer this.
20 seconds.
Let's do it.
In a city where people are keen on brain teasers and riddles, 4% of people don't list their phone numbers. So, if we select 40 random people from the phone directory,
40
all
random
of them
people.
will have unlisted numbers. Oops, seems you'll have to apply some knowledge of mathematics here. 20 seconds to refresh everything.
So 4% of people, they haven't listed their telephone numbers in the telephone directory.
Yeah.
And if we were, where we go back, so if we were to select 40 random people from the phone directory, how many of them will have unlisted numbers?
Well, they all listed their numbers because they're numbers in the phone directory.
Yeah. So what's the answer?
40.
What's the answer?
40. The 40 people have their numbers listed in the phone directory.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if you were right.
Let's see.
The answer may make you indignant. You've opened your math school book, after all, but it's 0%. If the numbers of these 40 people are in the phone directory, they are already.
Oh.
There you go. So
I
I
see.
told you you're going to get that. It's not very difficult. And that means
Well, you didn't hear my answer. I said 0%. Oh, goodness.
It was the other way around. Actually, you got it right, because if they haven't listed it, they're not going to be in the directory.
Yeah.
It's just a bit tricky in there. So yeah,
If
look,
they're in the
I really want to thank you again. I really want to thank you again for coming along and participating. And hopefully, I'll come around again. We're going to do another session with the different questions. Hopefully, when I get around with all the staff, I'll probably come up with another ideas, inshallah.
Well, it's an amazing idea, and it's honestly, it's the highlight of my week, seeing these like videos and seeing the different ways that you try and get our mind stimulated. And I honestly love it so much, Sheikh. And I've always appreciated you and all the things that you do for the school. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being such an incredible, and I know you don't like that I said role model earlier, but an incredible role model and colleague. And I've learned so much from you, and inshallah I look forward to learning many more things from an Islamic perspective, as a teacher, as a role model, as a human. And you definitely have been somebody who has been there for all of us, and just want to say thank you so much for being our rock in many difficult situations. So jazakallah khair.
Thank you so much, and thank you the viewers who are going to be watching this later. And I really want to thank Ms. ELKADOMI for coming around and also being part of this. And hopefully these kind words will get me a pay rise very soon. All right, I'm going to sign off from here, and I'll see you with another guest next week. Oh, sorry, tomorrow, not next week.
Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. Bye.
Wa alaikum assalam.